What is up, everybody? This is the Wild Nutrition Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Heskett, and this is episode 89, and we have another Unapologetic Friday. And I apologize if the mic is a little low today. I don't know what's going on with it, but I don't have time to really troubleshoot today. So I think everything's fine, but we'll see once the episode's recorded, because the little sound thing that tells me whether the sound is loud or not is, not functioning well. It's really fucking low. It's like one bar or not even adjusting, but I hear myself through the headphones, so I know the sound's coming through. The fuck. I don't know what's going on. So with that being said, as always, Friday episodes, there's no editing. These are just recorded and uploaded. So let's get fucking going. 15 minutes on the clock. We got cursing here. We have not comparing ourselves to others today as our topic for episode 89. So a comparison trap. This is something a lot of people are going to do, or you're going to feel bad when you start your journey and you think you need to be somewhere else, or you think you need to be doing more when you're doing just fine where the fuck you're at currently, or where you're at is where you're supposed to be at this current time, and you will get someplace else, but you're comparing yourself to someone who is further along or has been doing something for much longer. For example, if you were to compare yourself to me, and I'm not saying I'm the best ever, but however, I've been working out for 17 years. So if you haven't worked out a day in your life and you're day one and you're going to compare yourself to me, that's a shitty comparison. I've been doing it for 17 years. Of course, I'm going to be able to go into the gym, kind of know what I'm doing, know what the exercises feel like without really thinking. I've been doing it. It's literally my career versus it's day one. Is this an extreme example? Yes. Is this what people do? Also fucking yes. So let's get into it. So we're going to go nutrition and fitness, because these are separate, and somebody can be high level in one and really low level on another one. And there's going to be 5 levels, technically 6, but 5 levels that you're going to go through, and you might not start at the bottom, but a lot of people do, depending on your education. If you were never really looking into nutrition or fitness growing up, you might be really, really low level. Or if you grew up more like, my generation or younger, you're going to have more of a knowledge of health, fitness, nutrition, etc., because it was more common. We have the social media. It's easier to get that info. So with that being said, we're going to cover nutrition first. All right. So when we're looking at nutrition, there's going to be a journey you go through. And as always, I like to think of it as a journey, because instead of just leveling up, even leveling up video game reference, I also like that. But a lot of people will just be like, oh, I'm not doing good enough. And it's either a journey. So you're starting at one place, getting to your destination, or I like the idea of RPG video game, and you level up, and right now you're level 1 and we need to get experience and go do all these things to get to level 2, and then we're going to get to level 3. So those are ways I like to look at things in life. It kind of makes things more fun. It makes it tangible. Though unlike a video game, it's not like you go from level 1 to level 2 and it's oh, I collect the skill and I have this now. It's that's where it's more like a journey of you slowly get better over time, and then next thing you're oh, actually I'm a level 2 now, but I've been level 2. I didn't really realize that. So when I'm going over these levels, realize that it's not you're just magically going to be I leveled up, I am here, I'm level 4 now. It's probably going to be oh, I'm looking back, I'm level 4. And I just made these up based off of experience. There's many different ways I could make this into less levels, more levels, but I think 5 levels is appropriate. So with nutrition, I'm going to be done talking about it and get into it now. So with nutrition, level 0 is just doing nothing. So that's the bottom of the floor. You don't really have any understanding of food. You just eat food to survive, eat food because it tastes good, but you don't really have any understanding of food. If I say eat something with fiber, you have no idea what I'm talking about. If I say eat something with protein, you have no idea what I'm talking about. And the reason I point this out is you're going to go online and you'll see people, oh, you need to do X, Y, and Z to reach your health and fitness goals, or you need to avoid these certain foods to reach your health goals. And you're like, I don't even know what the fuck that is. Like, I don't even know what protein is. And now you're saying I have to do all these things to reach my goals. And you're like, no. We can slowly make changes over time and get you there, or not with some of them, but you can just make some changes over time and you're going to get results. So depending on where you're at here, it depends on what your next actions need to be. And this is where you don't want to compare, because a lot of times what you're going to see online is either bullshit or it's very high level stuff, especially the fear mongering stuff. Like, most people don't really need to worry about that. So level 0 is do nothing. Level 1 is like, okay, you've added more fruits, veggies, and whole grains to your diet. You know, you've heard those are better, and yes, they are. It's not really going to give you a amazing physique. It's not going to really change much about your weight loss per se, unless you have a significant amount of weight to lose. But it is a good step. It's a step in the right direction. So level 1 is you've made some healthy changes. You're not exactly sure why you made these, but you've heard these things are good, so you're adding it in. Level 3 is you're like adding protein in. And this is level 2 is adding protein in. Level 1, you're adding more fruits and veggies. Level 2, you're adding protein in. And because this is in level 1, because you need to know what protein is and what foods contain protein, not just like fruits, veggies, whole grains. Fruits, veggies, and whole grains, if I ask a person like, what are these foods? And you might say carbs or sugar, but you're not going to say a great source of fiber. You're not going to say like certain individual things about them. You're just going to be like, these I know are healthy for me. Once we get to level 2, you have to have an understanding of what protein is, where to get it, and how to add more of it into your diet. So you need to know that. That's why it's a little bit higher level. At this point, it's a little bit easier to see drastic changes. If you have a significant amount of weight to lose, like 50 plus pounds, just doing this is enough to start to see weight loss changes. But for most people, again, it's not going to be enough to make a significant change in your physique, your health, your fitness level, but it's a great starting point. You're going to see some changes. You are going to have to get to at the next level to see significant changes, but this is a great starting point. So if you're adding more protein in, fantastic start there. At level 3, you can track calories and macros. Even if you choose not to track them, you now have an understanding of what macros are and what foods contain protein, carbs, and fat. That is level 3. So that's in the middle. This is the level where you can see major changes in your body. You can get the results you want because you understand your nutrition better and how that affects fat loss and building muscle. And we're just going to focus on those two with level 3. So that's that level of nutrition. This is a place where you want to get to. So if you're at the lower levels, you want to get to level 3. And for a lot of people, you don't necessarily have to get above level 3. I would say 90% of your results will come from getting to level 3. So just understanding macros, what foods contain protein, carbs, and fat, fiber, and just knowing like I need to eat like 10 servings of fruits and veggies, drink plenty of water, those things, those are all level 3. Going above that's like the last 10%. And this is important because most of the stuff you're going to see online from people other than like myself and Alex and a lot of the coaches we're friends with, when you're seeing some of the people who are like going through grocery stores and demonizing foods, that stuff is going to be like the level 4s and 5s, mostly level 5. It is the last little bit. So 90% of your results just get from going to level 3. That's that. So if you're feeling bad, like, oh, I started doing this stuff, I'm seeing results, but then I saw this online and do I need to change anything? Like probably not. 90% of your results will come here. So level 4, now we're optimizing your micros, your vitamins and minerals. We're optimizing that, making sure we're getting all that in from specifically diet. Before that, at level 3, we're using a supplement as an insurance policy. We're still getting close to a lot of them. But for example, I started tracking. I tend to be low on folate a lot of times. I don't eat a ton of leafy greens this time of year. That's a great source of folate. We don't eat a ton of whole grains. Just my digestion can't handle a ton of raw leafy greens. It can't handle a ton of whole grains. So a little low on folate. Not, I'm at like 50% each day. You know what covers that? A multivitamin. We have a really good multivitamin that I recommend to everyone. Right now I'm a little low on calcium because we're out of yogurt, so not getting my daily yogurt in, and so I'm a little low on calcium. When you look at everything else, I'm doing pretty good, but it's okay. There's some gaps in the diet, so I can go in and I can adjust foods. Like, okay, I know I need to add in more foods that are higher in folate and higher in calcium. If you are below, like you don't even understand macros, if you go in and try to do this with foods, it is really fucking overwhelming to try and do this because there's a bunch of micronutrients, and we're not even talking about antioxidants. There's a bunch of vitamins and minerals, and to try to optimize everything is very, very difficult. To get to like you're mostly covering all your bases is pretty easy if you're eating mostly whole foods. Like you eat plenty of protein, carbs, and fat from whole food sources, you're going to get most of them. But there's probably going to be some gaps. Or the other one that surprised me was my vitamin C was like 80% of the RDA. I like to be much higher than just the RDA. I was like, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. But then a lot of the veggies I'm eating right now tend not to, like they have some vitamin C, but not a ton. I was like, okay, well, that is interesting. But we're going to be moving into citrus season. Right now we're apple and pear season. So citrus season, those levels are going to skyrocket. Again, I'm not eating a ton of citrus. I'm eating more like apples, pears for fruit. That's kind of like the fruit I'm eating in a day. And then the grains I am eating are oatmeal, which apparently are not super great in folate, but we're getting there. Next one is going to be level 5, and this is the last 1% of your results. And we're like talking like dialing in your antioxidants and optimizing your eating schedule and shit like that, where it's the last 1% of results. Are there results here? Yes. Can it take you kind of to the next level? Oh, I forgot to mention, at level 4, we can be chasing performance goals. So level 4 is really good if you're training for like a triathlon, a marathon, etc. And the reason it's above a level 3 where you're just tracking calories and macros is sometimes those calorie levels need to adjust day to day. Like long day, you're going to need higher calorie levels than a shorter run day or a recovery day, etc. So you can move your calories and your macros up and down and adjust depending. So it's a little bit higher level than just tracking your calories and macros day in, day out, where they're the same across the board. And so you could also argue that's kind of like level 3.5, but we're just going to say level 4. But you might not be optimizing micros at that time. You're just like chasing performance goals. So it's like 3.5 there. Level 5 is what you see a lot of times online, where it's where we're arguing fasting and all these other things. That is level 5. Are there results there? Absolutely. Are they the most important results? No. It's like the last 1% of your results are going to be there. So we want to back off and focus mostly on levels 1 through 4, specifically getting and really nailing down level 3. Get to level 3. That's where you want to be at. And you don't always have to stay if you're like, oh shit, well, if I'm going to go from level 3 to level 5, like there's going to be a ton of work. No, because just because you understand and you have an understanding at those higher levels doesn't mean you're doing all the work at those levels. For example, I might just like chill out with my nutrition for a time being, and then I can like jump back in. So I might jump from levels 3 to level 5, but I'm capable of jumping it and going to level 5. If you just get to level 3, you can't jump to level 5. It's going to be overwhelming and you tend to burn yourself out. So I can do that without burning myself out, as an example. So that's where you work incrementally moving up. But that's nutrition. And again, we could argue a little bit with the different levels and what goes on or add more detail to them, but we're actually at 15 minutes already, and I have to get through fitness now, and then I have to go get dinner ready. Actually, I have to finish check-ins and then go get dinner ready. So, fitness. Level 0 is going to be doing nothing. You don't work out. You don't understand working out. You don't, other than gym class in high school and middle school, you never really worked out. Maybe you did sports, but outside of doing sports, you never did anything on your own. That level 0. Level 1 is now you're going for walks. Maybe you're walking the dog, you're doing other things. You know it's good for your health. You get the walks in, but you're not really chasing any performance goals. You're not really going above and beyond that, but you're getting some stuff in. So if you're doing nothing to get to the next level, just start going for walks. That's all you need to do. You don't need to get the super specific gym routine. And if you have a lot of weight to lose, 50 plus pounds, and you're at level 0, my recommendation, just start going for walks. You don't need a specific workout routine. Start going for walks. If walking is too hard on your joints because of your weight, then you can look into, say, like an elliptical machine, which tends to be a little bit easier on the joints, or some of the other cardio machines, which might be a little bit easier. Maybe it's one of the recumbent bikes or something like that. But baseline is go for a walk. Just get walks in. And with those cardio machines, backtracking a little bit, it's not going intense. It's like low intense, like the difficulty of going for a walk. On the RPE, rated perceived exertion, if you're not familiar with that term, scale of like a 0 to 10, with 0 being like laying on the couch and 10 being the like your squat 1 rep max, like the most weight you could squat for 1 rep is super intense, super hard, or running the mile as fast as you can. That's RPE at 10. You're going to be like at most a 6, probably less, probably more like a 3 to 5 range is going to be where you top out at level 1. You're just getting movement in. Just getting movement. That's all. That's the important thing. At level 2, now you're getting some like workout videos in, some home workouts, going to the gym for random workouts. You're starting to understand movements. If I say squat, you know what that is. You kind of know how to perform it. At level 1, you might know what a squat is, but you're not 100% sure if you know how to perform it. You know different terms like, say, sets and reps at level 2, and you've kind of just like followed random programs. This is great. You've gotten better results than level 1, but it's not going to give you amazing results. That's going to be like level 3 and on. So again, level 3 is where most people need to get to. You're going to the gym with a program, but you don't necessarily love the gym. You're like, I go to the gym, I'm good. I don't love it, but I know it's important for me, so I do it. I don't necessarily hate it either. Level 2, you might hate working out. Level 3, like, it's kind of neutral. Like, you don't love it, you don't hate it, you love how you feel, like, feel good with it. So most of your results are going to come from level 3 for most people, what you want to achieve. Now, if you want to go above and beyond and get really, really amazing results, you have to go above this. But level 3 is a great place to get to. So if you're at level like 0, 1, or 2, like getting to level 3 will give you results, and it's going to get you closer to where you want to get to, and maybe even get you to where you want to be, at least initially. So level 3, great place to be at. And what you see online a lot of time is going to be talking more like level 4, level 5 stuff. Why? Because we can argue about it. It's controversial. It's all that kind of stuff. Or you're just seeing someone like myself. Like, I'll post videos of me working out, but I'm like, should I post it? Because most of my clients are like doing at-home workouts, or they're just breaking out the 20s, and I'm benching 305. Like, that's what I did this week. I'm like, do I post this video? Do I not? It's not really relatable. So level 4 is now you love the gym. You have a great program that you're following that's giving you a result, and you might be trained for something specific. Marathon, triathlon, powerlifting, strongman, bodybuilding competition. You might not, or it might just be a specific goal. Like, I really just want to focus on getting stronger. Like, you might follow a powerlifting style program, but you have no intention of powerlifting. You might be trying to get bigger and following a bodybuilding style program, but you have no intention of competing in bodybuilding. So level 4 is where that going to separate level 3 of you're going to get better results because you're going to be able to push yourself harder because you like the gym. It's easier to push yourself at that level. So level 4, if you want amazing results and take your body to that high level, that's where you need to get to. And then level 5 is you truly do love going to the gym and you love pushing yourself day in and day out. So level 5 is going to be that. You're going to have a specific training program. You're going to have specific things you train for at certain times of the year. And it's not just like, I go to the gym, I do weight training, I call it a day. It's, okay, this time of the year, it is the time of the year where I train for endurance. This time of the year is the year I train for strength. And it is really dialed in. And this is where you might be doing certain things that are cutting edge research. Or, so for example, training to failure for hypertrophy is going to be up here. You might do a little bit at level 4, but level 5 is at that level because it's so intense that it's very difficult for someone at a lower level to actually do. You're probably not going to go to true failure. Level 5, you're going to true failure. With endurance programs, like you might go from just like a marathon training program to now you're training for ultra marathon program. So level 5 is also like that higher level stuff. And again, we could add more levels to this because it's not truly a fair comparison of like training to failure and 100-mile race training. Like, not really a fair comparison, but just to give you an idea. The thing I want you guys to take away is if you are somewhere between level 0 and 2, most of your results are getting to the level 3. That's going to be like 90% of your results. With the fitness, maybe not 90%, maybe like 75%. But with nutrition, 90% of your results are coming at getting to level 3. Level 4 is going to be, add another 10% to that. And then level 5 is going to be where you super dial things in, but it's the last little bit of results, which means you're very close. By the time you get to level 5, you're close to your results. So it's not like you get to level 5 and snap of the fingers, all of a sudden, I have my results now. I leveled up and got to 5, and now I totally changed. No. You are going to be almost there, and you're trying to get the last little bit of results out. Maybe it's with your blood work, with nutrition, or you're trying to get super, super lean, or you're training for something hyper specific, something like that. You're trying to not just do a competition, you're trying to win a competition. That's like level 5 for fitness. So with that being said, we are way over time. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys have any questions about anything, please feel free to reach out to me. We have links down in the bio. And as always, happy fucking Friday. Go kill out there this weekend.